The film starts in Utica, New York with Clean, who serves as a trash collector. Clean works in a decaying and crime-ridden urban residential neighborhood. He gathers useful stuff while at work and sets them aside knowing that they might be useful to him. At the end of the shift, Clean checks out and then departs for home carrying some of his gathered items. In his attempt of seeking redemption, Clean reveals that he is dirty because his hands are covered with blood and that he can't wash away his past. He drives to a scrapyard where he gives canned food to the dog he finds there and later moves to a gathering. An ex-military named Travis reveals that back then he was addicted to pills and it became part of his life, and then Clean reveals that he was addicted to violence. Following the death of his daughter and the divorce from his wife, Clean now lives alone. He prepares some chicken meal and later fixes a machine he got from the garbage. In the morning he drives to his neighbor and offers a meal to a girl named Diana. Despite her reminders that he does a lot for her, yet he is not her father, she presents him with a handmade bracelet. Diana then boards a school bus and Clean makes his way to a thrift store where he shows his item and sells it for a few dollars. Shortly, when a woman arrives to purchase a gun, Clean's thoughts get diverted, but later he moves out to another place where he finds a lady whom he buys paint from. Clean spends most of his free time making himself useful to the community by painting over graffiti in the abandoned houses. In the morning he observes new occupants as he offers food to Diana, and later he takes a dim view of the new tenants. While asleep, Clean gets awakened by visions of his deceased daughter, and upon looking at her picture he becomes sorrowful. The following day Clean meets Travis, who informs him that sometimes it's better to let some things go or else focus on how to live with them. We are introduced to Michael, a prominent drug lord who has arrived to retrieve his son Mikey from the prison, but as Michael is set to meet him, Mikey instead gets picked by his buddies, which disappoints him. They drive away with Mikey, and even though Michael is furious, he decides to let it go. At work, Clean is informed that he will be covering additional regions due to certain collectors having cuts. He begins to gather trash as he travels to various locations. Meanwhile, as he cleans up the area near Michael's seafood restaurant, he notices a man with a gun. They are actively engaged in drug trafficking, but Clean doesn't mind, he just continues with his work. Clean tries to sleep but gets haunted by his past, as well as the loss of his daughter, and so he gets up and spends the all night repairing his car. The following day he finds Diana walking to school because the school bus is no longer in service. He offers her a ride, and on their way Diana wonders why he always stays alone without even a girlfriend. Clean informs her that he is not so good in women and his main focus is his job. Back to Michael's house, Mikey gets dropped by his buddies, and although he is late, Michael calls him to join him on their businesses. Mikey jokes that he hates smelling fishy, but Michael informs him that it's a smell of success. Michael finds out that 5 pouches of cocaine are missing and realizes that the Chinese transporters are stealing from him. Mikey says lost pieces are small, but Michael confronts him and says when you let small things go you will become a failure, and so Mikey apologizes. Clean repairs a bicycle that belonged to his daughter and drops it at Diana's house to ease her way to school. Soon after, Diana's grandmother Ethel gets out and tells Clean that he shouldn't be so concerned because Diana is not her daughter. But Clean replies that he is doing it to save himself as a lost soul. She tells him that the streets used to be happy with kids everywhere before the gangsters destroyed them, but they now hide their children inside. Ethel tells Clean that she saw him painting the abandoned houses and so he is a good guy, but Clean insists that he is not. Clean reveals to Travis about the experience he had when he had just bought a bicycle for his daughter. He always felt happy seeing her ride it because she loved it, and Clean still gets memories about her. Michael spends some time in the church as his cocaine businesses keep on running. They pack cocaine in little grams and disguise themselves as fish suppliers and distribute them throughout the neighborhood and the surrounding areas. Chinese transporters have arrived with deliveries, and while offloading, Michael calls Mikey to get closer. He hits the Chinese team leader with a hammer multiple times to serve as an example to the rest. After he warns the other Chinese to check their scales, and then he orders Mikey to clean the squids. During the night, while collecting the garbage, Clean notices blood from the trash of Sea Fish restaurant. He wonders but still proceeds to empty the trash, but shortly Michael appears behind him. He apologizes for the stench and tries offering him cigarettes, but Clean refuses. Michael then attempts tipping him, but still Clean declines and leaves peacefully. The following day, while driving, Clean's car breaks down, stopping in a bad neighborhood. He goes on to check the problem, but soon after a group of thugs run by him as they pursue someone into an alley. He then hears the man yelling, which compels him to go and see what's happening. He witnesses them brutally booting the man, and then he is perplexed while observing. They soon turn to him, but as they get closer, another thug emerges from behind and hits him with a baseball bat on the head. Clean awakens in the medical facility where he is being treated, but he gets memories of his daughter when she found him drugging. He is given a prescription for medication by the doctor, but Clean refuses to take it. At his work, Clean is given a leave due to liabilities, and as he drives back home he finds Diana sit outside. She informs him that her grandmother went with the keys, and so he invites her to his house. Diana notices that he is not in a good condition, and while moving around the house she notices a wooden box, and as she tries opens it, Clean angrily stops her, which scares Diana to runs away. Michael tries to talk to Mikey, but Mikey is busy rehearsing rap music, which angers Michael to confront him, and that's when Mikey threatens to stab him with a knife, and when he fails, Mikey decides to run away from home. As Clean is driving around, he spots Diana hanging with some goons, and he advises her to go home because it is late for her, but Diana stoically responds that he is not her father to command her. The thugs confront Clean and tell him to leave, but Diana eventually accedes to Clean's request to avoid a conflict. Back at the gathering, a man speaks of the demons that constantly pursue people, causing them lose hope that there is nothing they can do. Upon moving outside, a man approaches Clean and claims that Clean's face appears familiar, however Clean denies this. He confesses that he knows him to be a partner of a notorious gangster Rich, but Clean ignores him. Later, Clean paints off graffiti from an abandoned house, and when Clean looks inside he appears to have seen someone, which inspires him to enter and check. Suddenly he discovers a toolbox with a pipe wrench inside it, and he takes it. While Clean is driving around during the night, he notices Diana's bicycle outside the thug's residence. Inside they are drinking and using drugs, however Diana unexpectedly happens to be there. She stands to move out, but one of them starts filming her, and they stop her from moving out as they attempt to rape her. Clean moves to the door and notices Diana inside, which forces him to beat the thugs with the wrench pipe. He ruthlessly hits everyone inside, including the goons attempting to rape Diana, and Mikey is among the thugs beaten. Clean finds and hugs Diana, but unfortunately the phone has recorded everything, but he was unable to see it. Later he takes Diana back to her grandmother, and on the other side Michael is with his injured Mikey. The doctor informs him that Mikey's situation requires a surgery, and if not that he might lose his ability to talk, but Michael refuses so that it can act as a lesson to Mikey. He watches the recordings revealing Clean's identity, and Frank, a corrupt officer, informs him that Clean is a trash man staying in the hood, and he adds on that Clean might have run away. Michael gives Frank the order to brutally execute Diana and Ethel so that Clean gets hurt before capturing him. On the other hand, Clean is departing the town with Diana and Ethel, and on their way a police officer orders him to pull over. After stopping, he notices the officer talking on phone, and he expects him to be a bad cop collaborating with Michael, and so he speeds off his car, and after a while he drifts off the main road, and that's when he manages to evade the police. Now Clean needs to change the car, and so they stop at a bowling alley. Diana escorts Ethel to use the restrooms as Clean goes around the parking lot looking for a car to steal. While driving around, some of Michael's goons notice Clean's car, and upon confirmation they move out and head to the diner. As Diana and Ethel are departing, these goons walk in, and so they run back. While Clean is waiting for Diana and Ethel, he notices one of the henchmen, and kills him instantly before making his move and takes his hatchet. The other henchmen are still pursuing Diana and Ethel, who run to the back rooms of the building. They find and hide somewhere, though it seems a weak spot, as the henchmen are about to approach them. Clean suddenly appears and confronts them with a hatchet he got. The struggle becomes tight, but Clean is able to defeat them all in hand-to-hand combat, putting them all down. Clean goes to meet Diana and Ethel and calls them to leave. In a flashback, one night when Clean was still a professional assassin, he returned home and noticed his drug syringe was missing, only to find out that his daughter had used it. Sadly, the daughter had passed on, which broke Clean down since it was his fault. According to the love Clean had for her, since then his life never stayed the same. At a motel, Ethel blames Clean that because of him they can't return home, but Clean promises to make things right. Clean then drives back to the neighborhood and meets Travis, whom he informs that Michael wants him dead. He leaves with Travis a box with money to be given to Diana in case he doesn't survive, and later he moves to the thrift shop to buy some guns. His attendant friend offers him the best gun that could suit his needs and a flare gun for free. Clean proceeds to collect more items and schematics. Frank receives a call and learns that Clean was a feared professional assassin known as the Grim Reaper. Clean calls Michael and warns him that he knows his address, and so he is coming for him. Clean then starts to use his salvage skills to improvise a silencer for a pumped shotgun, and then sets himself ready. His back tattoo can tell how notorious he was back then. He puts on armor vest and equips himself with different weapons, and then he loads them on the vehicle. Michael prepares all his men to wait for the battle and confirms that they have tightened the security, and so no one can bypass them. Clean goes back to his workplace and gets a vehicle he used to drive. While sitting outside Michael's house, he sets a trap on his electric box. It is revealed that he already killed all the guards outside, and he proceeds to his garbage truck. As Michael and his partners celebrate with a drink, Clean comes with the garbage truck and crashes it into Michael's house. His trap explodes and power goes off, and then Michael's men rapidly shoot at the truck. Surprisingly, Clean is already out, and he starts shooting them one by one. He is attacked by Frank and a battle ensues between the two, however he manages to shoot him out with a flare gun. Clean continues to pursue Michael, and while searching around for him, Michael nearly shoots him. He shoots at him again, and Clean suddenly attacks him, thus resulting into combat fight, and Michael hits Clean as he kicks him. While down, Clean gets a vision of his daughter, and then the fight turns around. Now Clean begins to strike Michael, but Mikey arrives just as he is about to finish him. Mikey shoots Clean first, and then he shoots his father until the magazine becomes empty. He tries to end Clean as well, but he runs out of bullets. Sometime later, Diana's neighborhood has now been freed from the criminals, as we see kids out playing on the street. As Diana rides a bike down the street, she notices a rubbish truck approaching, and she smiles, bringing our movie to the end. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.